My name is Roberta. I am the Behavior and Training Administrative Manager at AWS. Um, and yes, we're back finally. Sorry, I thought the internet was going to work fine where I was, so I had to scramble around. And now, sorry, it's not a very as attractive background, but it'll do. Um, and I don't know if Dana, if you know how to because I think a lot of people find the video just on our homepage. If you could just find this in the discussion and share it to the homepage. That's what I was trying to do when I got disconnected. Because I know like Sharon and stuff just see, they don't know to come to the discussion part of this and share it. But anyway, sorry. Back to my live presentation. So today, since Dana is a busy girl and has lots to do, I'm going to be doing the You're Stuck With Me, basically. But I am a certified professional dog trainer, and I've been, hold on one second. I think it's just you and Stephanie in here now anyway, so enjoy my face for just a moment as I go. Here we go. I'll do it. Just say write a post. There. So anybody who's still interested in coming to this, sorry guys, it's a bit of a disaster, but I'll be prepared the next time. So today I'd like to talk about a few different topics. I want to expand upon what Dana was talking about last week when she talked about why training is important. And I want to just kind of expand and talk about, let's move this. You know, how you can start to put it into action with some what we call fluency or generalization, and a little bit about how you can teach your dog to settle using some preparation and management techniques, and also giving your dog choices in life and why that is important. So before I get started into that, though, I do want to thank everyone for all their support they've been giving us and AWS and the Behavior and Training Department throughout this quarantine and odd time this is. All your support and watching our videos and everything has been really great. We don't know when exactly we'll be coming back with our in-person classes, but as soon as I know, I will let you guys know as well. We do offer some remote private consults, which you may think, I don't know, I really want to go in person, but the people who've been trying it out have really found it to be successful. And Dana does most of them, and they're actually really, really helpful. So feel free to give that a try too, if you're really in a pickle. So again, I'll get back to it. Last week, Dana talked about what training your dog, really means and how it can differ from household to household, depending on your family's lifestyle, etc. She talked about building a bond with your dog and learning how to communicate with each other, and how you really need a lot of trust with each other to expand and on your relationship. So, and it's just essential for your happiness and for your dog's happiness, because dogs and humans, we weren't just born to know how to communicate with each other. We're completely different species, but our destinies and our lives have been interlocked for a long time and will be for a very long time, because we're just kind of good together. When things work, they work. So learning how to live harmoniously with one another can, just takes a little practice. And times have changed. So, from the early days where your dog could just run free on lots of land and basically live outdoors, a lot of dogs are stuck inside, living lives really, really closely with us. So we want to make sure that we understand what they need and they understand what we expect of them. So, so what's a well-trained dog? Let's see. say your dog, you say, well, Roberta, my dog knows tons of tricks. It knows sit, it knows down, can shake, it can come, and I calm and stuff like that. So I'm done. I got all the basics down. I'm ready to go. And my dog's trained, so why do I need to classes or to work with them? Well, that's not necessarily true. Depending on your lifestyle, generalization or fluency is going to be important. What does that mean? It means so your dog may be really great at doing these behaviors in your home or with your family and with treats and everything. But the minute you go out or company comes over, suddenly the dog won't sit when you say sit, and you say, well, he's blatantly, defying me, and I know he knows how to do this, so why isn't he doing this? Well, that's because dogs don't naturally just generalize behavior, really. We have to teach that to them. So if we teach them to do a behavior in one area or situation, we have to make sure we kind of practice that in a bunch of other situations, and it's called fluency. Because you could see you go out and, well, this Susan's dog is perfectly trained. I see her out there, and her dog just looks at her and sits everywhere, and my dog should just know how to do that. Well, chances are Susan, she may have hit the genetics jackpot with her dog and just got a really well-bred, easygoing dog, but chances are Susan also does a lot of fluency and work every day. And that's really kind of what you're seeing when you see this perfectly trained dog, is a lot of fluency. I'm going to turn my page. Hold on one moment. Okay. So I'm not saying that every dog should be perfectly trained in every situation and have fluency everywhere, but they should enough to fit in with your lifestyle, right? Because my dogs certainly are not anywhere near as, they're not your typical well-trained in all situation dogs, but that's okay with me. For instance, my dogs, I don't mind if they jump on me a bit when I come home, or they get excited or something like that, because they're small, so they're not going to knock me over, so that's fine. And I don't have a lot of company over that I have to worry about them being disrespectful to or bothered by it. So it's okay with me. I don't necessarily want to work on that. And also, they don't have a reliable recall. A lot of people really, really want a reliable recall, but honestly, if you don't need to have one, if you're not going to be out off leash for hunting or some other purpose, then I wouldn't stress too much about it. Because, for instance, my dogs, they have a fenced-in backyard they can run in, and they all enjoy taking leash walks. So I don't stress about making sure they always come when I say come. They should always come when I say come, but I don't practice that as much. So I'm not going to take them off leash anywhere, because I know that a distraction will be more entertaining than I am. So, so pick the behaviors that you do want to, you are interested in. So if you do have a big dog that jumps on all your guests, knocks them over, no one wants to come over anymore, then you say, well, for my lifestyle, I need this dog not to jump up. I can't ignore that. So think of what you would like them to do. For instance, sitting next to you nicely, paying attention when company comes over or anything like that. Oh, sorry, I was just looking at Scott's question. I'll get to that in a moment. Then you will work on what you'd like them to do instead. So you're like, well, I really would be nice if they could sit nicely when company comes in. We're going to start with the fluency on that. So start easy in your kitchen or wherever with little distractions. You'll train it. There's nothing going on, lots of rewards, they're having fun, you're working together. Then you can start maybe trying it in the backyard, trying it in the front yard, sitting next to you when people are walking by across the street. Again, lots of treats, and just trying all these different situations with a family member coming in the door, when you come in the door, and then work your way up to like a new person coming in and stuff. So that's what we build fluency. So this way your dog will have that behavior down even when you're out on a walk and you see Amanda and she comes over and you want to say hi, and your dog like, oh, I know this sit nicely by her side behavior because we've done it so much time in so many different places that I got it. And you gotta, practice. Once you do teach a behavior, it doesn't mean they're gonna be perfect at it forever. You gotta keep practicing it every day. It doesn't have to be super structured or stern or for a long time, but a little bit every day. It's like any relationship or marriage or anything like that. You don't get married and then suddenly you're gonna get along together forever and ever. You got to work on it a little bit, right? And exercise. If you lose weight, exercise and diet, and then you get down to your goal weight, and that doesn't mean you can start eating junk food again because you're just going to get up there again. So it's something you got to kind of incorporate into your lifestyle forever. So my question to you too is if you feel like putting it in the chat, what's a behavior that you really want to work on generalizing with your dog that you don't, that you think your dog isn't really needs some work on and generalizing. They know it really great at home, but you'd really like to work on it out in the real world. So my next topic is how to encourage relaxation with that crazy nighttime monster dog, which I have. And I have had for his whole life. He just goes bananas at night. He's like, the minute I sit down to eat dinner, I mean, literally, I can cook dinner, I can set the table, but the minute I sit down, he jumps up and he wants to bark in the other room, beg, whine, just go bonkers. So he does the same thing. I sit down to watch our evening programs. He could be laying down, fast asleep, and he'll jump up suddenly and turn into a cuckoo head. So this is pretty predictable. Obviously by now I've known it. He's 14 years old. So what I do is a lot of preparation and management too, because I know this is going to happen. So let's say for dinner, before I sit down, I'll make sure he's gone out to the bathroom. You always want to make sure your dog has plenty of exercise previous during the day, nice long walks, and he's had his outdoor time and sniffing and maybe some training earlier in the day. So I know when I sit down, I could either tether him or put a little gate up in one area with a comfy bed. And just, what I usually generally do is toss him a few treats. If he is being good, dog treats, don't feed them the people food because then they'll start begging every time you sit down for your people food. If you are going to feed them people food, I wouldn't do it when you are eating because then they'll really bug you when you eat. So, when they're calm, you can throw them a little dog treat or just praise them for that. And then when I go sit down in the evening for TV, I make sure he's done his business outside. I'll put some water in there so I know he's not thirsty. I'll put a couple of different bed options in there, and I put a gate to the rest of the house so he doesn't have access to go around and just aimlessly bark at invisible creatures somewhere. And then I bring in a nice frozen delicious Kong filled with some of his favorite stuff, and he'll settle with that. And that's what works for us. I'm not saying the same thing will work for everyone, but if you try whatever, preparation and management of the situation before it happens, it's going to get great, because otherwise you just get frustrated over and over again. And one of the reasons this does work for my dog, if you have a highly anxious dog per se, is because of preparation and management. So a lot of dogs, if you don't find something productive for them to do or kind of show them and manage and give them good options, they will pick a bad option to do. And giving my dog, saying this, I'm going to block you off with the gate, I'm going to give you comfy things, and I want you to sit here and settle. He's like, okay, I can just, because I don't know what to do. When you sit down and settle, I'm like, I go crazy. I don't know what's going on. I got to go up and protect the house, and I'm just telling him, go ahead and settle. And sometimes that helps with a lot of anxious, overwhelmed dogs. It's like with kids. They need a little structure. They're looking for their leadership. Otherwise, they might go bonkers because they don't know how to be a responsible adult, and your dogs aren't born leaders. They are they want to they want you to lead them and be a responsible, and but they're only going to follow you if you prove yourself to be a worthy leader and a worthy, compassionate training leader. So okay, well, I have one more topic. Thank you for everyone who's still listening and bearing with me in this. And I haven't passed out yet from nerves, so we're doing good. So my third topic is choices and why those are important for your dog. So I just talked about limiting your dog's choices for preparation and management, okay? But please make sure your dog still does have choices throughout the day as much as possible. What you want to do is just kind of make sure you always manage that they have good choices to choose from. So don't really offer them the bad choices. Give them, good choices. A great example is this quarantine that we're all going through. For a while, I wondered why I was so discontent being asked to stay home and avoid all these busy malls and crowds of people, because generally I don't like to do that anyway. I enjoy being home and relaxing, and I have a backyard, I have internet, I have cable, I have food, I have family. So why am I so upset about this quarantine? And then I realized that it's because my choices were taken away from me. I just felt a little claustrophobic or maybe trapped or dictated because, I suddenly didn't have the choices or the freedoms I thought. And, even though I didn't need all that stuff, I still wanted it. And I felt I should have it because I always have. So dogs are kind of the same way. They really would appreciate to have some choices in their life, make sure they have a little bit of control over their life. It just helps with, otherwise, sorry, that was a motorcycle. Otherwise, they may get a little, depressed or just stressed and discontent. So you really will see a difference. Just small things such as allowing them to choose maybe a soft elevated bed opposed to the floor, giving them choices of where they can sleep or lay down, letting them choose, if they want to continue if you're doing a training exercise and you've gone over it a few times and they just seem like, okay, I'm done. See you later. Okay, I'll respect that. We'll pick it up another time. So they feel like they're part of this relationship. In the shelter, for instance, dogs have very little choices, so we try to give them as much as they can in a safe manner. So we'll give them different choices, like they can choose to go in the front or the back of their kennel. We're not going to restrict them to one or the other, or again, we'll give them toy options, as much as possible, because it's going to be really stressful being in the shelter, and if we take away all their choices. So think about what choices you allow your dog to have during the day. Another example I'll give you is, for instance, my little moody dog who also goes bonkers at night. He hates to be groomed, but he's a Shih Tzu, and he needs to be regularly groomed. And even though I use lots of treats and praise, when I groom him, if he decides to pull his foot away or he's done just like, I want to walk away completely, then I respect that and let him, even though I really want to have him stay there so I can get some of those spots cleaned up, I have to let him make that choice. And so that means some days I may get 20 minutes of grooming done, or I may get 30 seconds, depending on what he wants. But it's not an emergency. And when he does choose to be there, he's in it. He will cooperate. He'll be happy about it. And I've noticed a big difference since I started letting him have that choice more, on his willingness to give me any time at all. And my question to you for this is, what choices do you give your dog each day? And I challenge you to really think about it, because I did it and I was like, wow, I really, there's a good thing about routine and structure, but I also don't want to dictate every move my dog makes, which sometimes I feel like I do because I'm really, micromanage their moves sometimes. But so I'm going to try and myself to kind of give them a few more safe choices that just to boost their confidence. All right, I think that is everything on my list. For those of you who made it to the end, congratulations on that. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comment section. I know my buddy Scott asked if there's any tips from preventing your dog from jumping the fence. So once your dog has learned that they can jump the fence, honestly, I wouldn't trust them not to do it, or be alone outside with it, because it can just be at times just too tempting, especially if they're alone out there and they're kind of like start to get a little bored and they see something great on the other side and they're like, oh, I know I can just do this. And the more they do it, the better they get and the more fun it is. So I would just say supervision outside with your dog. If you if this is, say, I think maybe you're talking about a dog that was recently adopted. So start introducing him to the yard have a leash on, walk around, play games out there, do short bursts where you are out there with him and enjoying the yard and preventing, basically, if he starts to look over it and really be like, call him over with some treats and everything like that. And we'll also work on a really great recall. So if there is a point in time where you do kind of see him look like he's about to maybe think about it, you can be like, hey, come over here, buddy. Let's do something else really fun. So he's not really going to be able to be a dog that's allowed to just stay outside by himself. He's going to need some supervision.